Hello dear students, how are you all? So I TAUSIF welcome you once again in this wonderful class where we are learning English for SSC and all other examinations. So today we are going to study a very important topic related to tense, which is conditional sentences. Conditional sentences. Though conditional sentence is a different topic, but it is related to tenses. If you have studied tenses and you haven't studied conditional sentence, this means you are not going to solve a lot of questions related to tense, because this particular topic is very important for your examination. So the first thing is, what are conditional sentences? What are conditional sentences? Conditional sentences consist of two clauses. Okay? Conditional sentences have two clauses. Okay, so conditional sentences consist of two clauses. One, if clause, and second, the main clause. Okay, what is there in if clause? If clause has a condition. If clause has a condition and starts with if. Okay, so what is if clause? If clause is a condition and starts with if. And what is main clause? Main clause has the result of the condition mentioned in if clause. Okay, so what are conditional sentences? Conditional sentences consist of two clauses. First clause is if clause. If clause has a condition, and the second one is main clause. Main clause has the result of the condition mentioned in if clause. So basically two clauses combinedly called the conditional sentences. Okay, let me give you an example. If I write, if I beat you, so this is our condition. If I beat you. Okay, if I beat you. If I beat you, what will happen? If I beat you, what will happen? Now what will happen? What will happen is our main clause. Okay, if I beat you, you will cry. Okay, so this is our condition. This is our condition. Okay, and what will be the result of this condition? If I beat you is the condition, and if I beat you, what will happen? What will happen? You will cry. So this is the result of this if clause. This is main clause. Okay, and together both the clauses are called conditional sentences. Okay, so a conditional sentence has two clauses. One, the if clause, where we mention a condition, and on fulfilling that condition, the result that comes out is the main clause. As you can see, I have written a sentence where the if clause is if I beat you. So this is the condition. Now the question is, what will happen if I beat you? If I beat you, you will cry. So you will cry is the result of the if clause, where I have said that if I beat you. So if I beat you is the condition, and you will cry is the result. So if clause plus main clause, and together they are called a conditional sentence. Together they are called a conditional sentence, right? Okay. Now Types of conditional sentences. Types of conditional sentences. Types of conditional sentences. There are 6 types of conditional sentences. There are 6 types of conditional sentences. 1. The factual conditional. Factual conditional. Second one is real conditional. Third one is unreal or imaginary conditional. Fourth one is past conditional. Fifth one is mixed conditional 1, and sixth one is mixed conditional 2. So these are 6 types of conditionals. First is factual conditional, second one is real conditional, third one is unreal conditional, fourth one is past conditional, fifth one is mixed conditional 1, and sixth one is mixed conditional 2. There are 2 types of mixed conditional 1 and mixed conditional 2. Now what are those? I'll explain it later. Okay, so let's start with the first one. Let's start with the first one. First one is factual conditional. First one is the factual conditional. Okay. What is factual conditional? What is factual conditional? When the if clause and the main clause, when the if clause and the main clause are facts or universal truth, they are called factual conditional. Okay. When if clause and main clause both are facts or universal truth, it is factual conditional. Together they form a factual conditional sentence. Okay. Now what should be the structure? What should be the structure of a factual conditional? What should be the structure of a factual conditional? So the structure of factual conditional is both the clauses must be present indefinite. Okay. What is the structure of a factual conditional? Both the clauses of a factual conditional must be in present indefinite tense. If a conditional sentence refers to a fact or universal truth, it is a factual conditional, and both the clauses of a factual conditional must be in present indefinite tense. Okay, and if I elaborate it, if plus subject first form or fifth form, this is present indefinite, and the main clause should also be in present indefinite tense. It can be negative, it can be interrogative, it can be positive, okay, but it should be in present indefinite tense. Now, how to see whether a sentence is factual or not? So the simple answer is, if there is a fact or universal truth in a sentence, it is a factual condition and it must be in present indefinite tense. Let's see one example. If I write, if babies are hungry, they will cry. If babies are hungry, they will cry. Now, if I say, find the error in this sentence, find error in this sentence. So, what is the error in this sentence? If babies are hungry, they will cry. What is the error in this sentence? Is this sentence correct or wrong? Just tell me one thing, is this sentence correct or wrong? If babies are hungry, they will cry. See, can you see the fact in this sentence? Is this a fact? Is this a fact? Yes, definitely. It is a fact. This is definitely a fact. If babies are hungry, they cry. Have you ever seen a baby which is hungry and is still not crying? No. If a baby is hungry, he must cry. So this is a fact. And if this is a fact, it should be a factual conditional. If this is a fact, this should be a factual conditional. And in factual conditional, both the clauses are in present indefinite tense. Okay, so this sentence refers to a fact, and since this sentence is a fact, it should be a factual conditional, and both the clauses of a conditional sentence must be in present indefinite tense. But as we can see, the main clause here is in future. The main clause here is in future, which is wrong. Because if any sentence refers to a fact or universal truth, it should be a fact. It is a factual conditional, and a factual conditional has present indefinite tense in both the clauses. So here you can see main clause is in future tense. That's why this sentence is wrong. So the correct version of the sentence should be, if babies are hungry, they cry. This is the correct sentence. This is the correct sentence. If babies are hungry, they cry. Okay? Got my point or not? So if any conditional sentence refers to a fact or universal truth, it is a factual conditional, and both the clauses of a factual conditional must be in present indefinite tense. Right? So if babies are hungry, they will cry. This is a wrong sentence because it is a fact, and fact cannot be in future tense. It should be in present indefinite tense in both the clauses, because this is what factual conditional suggests. Right? Okay. Now, so this was factual conditional. Now let's talk about second, real conditional. Real conditional. Real conditional. Now the question is, what is a real conditional? What is a real conditional? When the main clause is real and highly possible, it is called the real conditional. Okay. Now what should be the structure? What should be the structure? So the structure of a real conditional is a complex one. As we have seen that factual conditional has just one structure, present indefinite plus present indefinite. But this is not the case with the real conditional. Real conditional has a bit complex sentence structure, because in real conditional, if clause can be in any present tense. Any present tense means it can be present indefinite, present continuous, present perfect, right? So if clause of a real conditional can be in present indefinite, can be in present continuous, can be in present perfect, depending on the meaning. Okay, so if clause of a real conditional can be in present indefinite, present continuous, present perfect, any of the three tenses, but according to the meaning. You cannot use these three tenses interchangeably. Means you cannot write continuous in place of indefinite, or indefinite in place of perfect, or perfect in place of continuous. These three tenses cannot be used interchangeably. According to the meaning, according to the condition, you have to choose whether to use indefinite or continuous or perfect. And the main clause is also a bit complex one. In main clause, you can use will, shall, or can, or may, or should, any of these words with first form of verb and object. You have to use will and shall for planning. You have to use can for ability. You have to use for may for possibility, and should for advice. So if the sentence suggests a planning, use will or shall. If the sentence suggests ability or capacity, use can. If the sentence suggests advice, you should. And if the sentence suggests possibility, you can use may. Okay, so this is the structure of present real conditional. This is the structure of real conditional. So now this is the most important conditional sentence, because there is a variety of sentence structures that are used in this sentence. Let's see some examples. Let's see some examples. If I say, if I study, if I study if I study English, I will not solve any question from this book. Now tell me, is this sentence correct or wrong? Let's see one more example. If your brother is watching that movie, I will ask him for the CD. Those CDs are out of fashion now, but I have given the example. No one watches movies in CDs now. Memory card, mobile and internet and Netflix and Amazon Prime, lots of things are there. CDs are outdated now, but for example, this is correct. So if your brother is watching that movie, I'll ask him for the CD. Now find the error in both these sentences. So in this sentence, in place of indefinite, you have to use continuous. If I am studying. And in this sentence, in place of continuous, you have to use perfect. Okay. Why you have to do these changes? Because here you have written, I will ask him for the CD. I'll demand the CD. I will tell him to give me the CD. And when should I tell him to give me the CD? Once he has watched the movie. If he is still watching, how can I ask him for the CD? Okay. If you have a bottle and you are still drinking water from it, I cannot ask. I cannot say, please give it to me, because you are drinking. Once you finish drinking, then only I'll ask you for the bottle. Okay. Because if you are drinking and I'll ask for the bottle, you'll say, let me drink first. Can't you see that I'm drinking and you're asking me for the bottle? You'll say, let me finish drinking. Then only I'll give you. So if someone is still watching the movie, how can I ask him for the CD? I will ask him for the CD only when he has finished watching the movie. So that's why this sentence should be in present perfect tense, because present perfect tense shows that the action has been completed. That's why you have to use present perfect tense in this sentence. Right? Clear? So these type of questions are very often asked in different competitive exams of SSC and also other exams. So you have to keep in mind that how to solve these questions. Okay. Now solve some more questions. Question number 1. If I have a car, I cannot give it to you. I can give it to you. Okay. Question number 2. If Ravi plays hockey, you will not disturb him. Question number 3. If my brother has cried, you should console him. Question number 4. If they tease you, you can beat them. And question number 5. If I disturb you, will you beat me? Now, find error in all the 5 sentences. Tell me which sentence is correct and which sentence is wrong. Tell me what correction is required in all these 5 sentences. I am giving you 1 minute to solve all these 5 questions. Tell me if the sentence is correct, mark it with no improvement, and if the sentence requires any correction, tell me what it should be. Okay, let's start. Let's see the first sentence. If I have a car, I can give it to you. So here, if I have a car, I can give it to you. Here, the use of can is wrong. Here you have to use will in place of can. If I have a car, I'll give it to you. Because can refers to ability or capacity, and in that sentence, there is no sense of ability or capacity. It is a planning that if I have a car, I'll give it to you. In the second sentence, if Ravi plays hockey, if Ravi play hockey, you will not disturb him. So here the use of will is wrong. In place of will, you have to use should. Because this sentence gives a sense of advice that if someone is playing something, you should not disturb him. So in third sentence, if my brother has cried, you should console him. When do we need to console someone? If he has finished crying, he has calmed down now, or he is still crying. So when do we need to console? If someone is still crying. So in place of has cried, you have to use is crying. Because if he has finished crying, you do not need to console him because he has consoled himself. We need to console someone when he is still in grief. So has cried is wrong, is crying is correct. Next, if they tease you, you can beat them. If they tease you, so here in place of can, should or may are correct. Whether you should use should in place of can or may. And in the fifth sentence, if I disturb you, will you beat me? This sentence is absolutely correct. If I beat you, if I tease you, will you beat me? So this is the question that what will you do if I beat you? Will you beat me? This sentence is absolutely correct. So are these 5 questions clear? If you have any doubt regarding these 5 questions, you can ask me now. Then only I'll move further. Clear? Okay, now let's see the third conditional, that is unreal conditional. Third conditional, which is unreal conditional. Now, what are unreal conditionals? When the main clause and the if clause is unreal, that means imaginary. Unreal, that means imaginary or least possible, it is unreal conditional. Okay, and what should be the structure? What should be the structure of an unreal conditional? If clause of an unreal conditional is in past indefinite tense, and in main clause you can use would plus V1, or in place of would you can also use could or might. So this is the structure of unreal conditional. The most important thing that you have to keep in mind is that though the structure of type 3 is past, yet the sentence is present. So this is something very contradictory. Though the structure of type 3, that is unreal conditional, is past, yet the actual tense of this type 3 conditional is present. Okay. Now see some examples. If I had money, I would buy this city. And see one more sentence. If I have money, I'll buy this car. Okay, so this is type 3, which is unreal, and this is type 2, which is real. So the only difference between these two sentences is not tense. Okay, I told you that though the structure of this sentence is past, yet the sentence is in present. Both the sentences are in present tense. Don't get confused by the structure of unreal conditional. It may appear a past tense, but it is actually present. Now the question is, if unreal conditional is in present, why do we structure it in past indefinite tense? The only thing is, type 2 and type 3 are opposites of each other. On one hand, type 2 is real, and on the other hand, type 3 is unreal. So to differentiate between these two tenses, we structure type 3 in past indefinite, but the sentence is present tense. Okay, the only difference is meaning. What happened, Akash? What happened? Why you are so angry? Who is reminding you your obligations, Akash? What happened? Okay, so I hope that you have understood the basic concept of conditional sentences. Okay, in the next class we'll see it further. We'll see the next part of this topic tomorrow. Okay, this much for today. Further we'll see tomorrow. Okay.